Hello everyone and welcome now to game 1 in a series between AT's Sage versus IP's Satiini here on Cloud Kingdom. We have Sage spawning as the blue Protoss player on the top right hand side of the map of Cloud Kingdom. Game 1 in this best of 3, or I believe it's a best of 3. If it's a best of 5, then well, one person absolutely dominates another. Okay, so let's see what's going to be going down here in this series. Satiini as spawned as the red Terran player on the bottom left-hand side of the map, and I am curious to see what these players will be doing with their particular openings. Now, it's been quite a while since I've cast a game from either of these players, so I'm not quite sure what these players will be going for, as we see Sage setting up a pylon in a rather unusual location, a bit out of the way. Not quite sure why he wants to limit his pylon power anywhere, but then again, it will allow him to spot pretty much near the front door if any units do try to slip by. Now, coming back over here, supply depot is now being constructed by Satiini. Satiini deciding to build that on the front door instead of building that close to home, and will be perhaps setting up a barracks here as soon as he does have enough minerals. There we go. Gateway and barracks being placed down at about the same time. Protoss players generally have a stronger economy at the very start of the game, as you see that chrono boost now just so commonplace. But I remember when years and years ago when players were just talking about chrono boost as it was the next best thing since sliced bread. Alright, Satiini opting to not go for a refinery as of yet, so we should see a 1 racks expand come out from Satiini. The question is going to be how he will follow up with this 1 racks expand. Most likely command center will be placed down after the orbital command is ready to go. Is the probe going to even bother to harass? No, it is not. And apparently the first game is going to be on Cloud Kingdom. Second place will be on Ohana, and third game will be on Daybreak. As, yes, they did announce that for us. Alright, second supply depot has been placed down. Probe pretty much stuck on the wrong side of the wall, as the probe will just be limited to wandering around on the inside here. Let's take a look at the Protoss side of the things. Cybernetics Core and Gateway now training up a Zealot. And what will be that next all-important building? Will Sage perhaps go a 1-gate Cybernetics Core expand, which is pretty common at this point, what most players do try to go for, or will he perhaps try to lay down some aggression? SCV now placing down that command center here at the 9 o'clock position, as the Marines were able to corral and take down that one particular pesky probe. We should see perhaps a bunker placed down here or right in the center here, making it difficult for any units to actually slip by. That is the point, the bunker protecting those Marines, as we are going to be having the SCVs now making their way back. Marines now going to hold and control the Zelnaga towers, as both players really not doing much of anything. Is Satiini perhaps going to try and set up a proxy factory? Is going to be the next question, as we are starting to see a larger cache of gas now being harvested. Double refineries here, only 3 SCVs on gas each, as now the Stalker is going to be wandering around and by sheer luck finds Satiini's SCV. Down it goes. Coming back, Sage now warping in a Nexus at his natural expansion. Marines are wandering around. There is only 2 Marines back here by the bunker. And so far, it looks as though we are only staying on 1 barracks for production. This does come to me as a bit of surprise, as Satiini looks like he's going to be favoring a much more advanced unit tech, as the Stalker is forced to pull back there. Marines do have higher DPS than that Stalker. Stalker only dealing, I believe, 10 damage a second, even against the bunker's armor. Alright, here we go. We may see the Marine simply slip by. Is it going to perhaps get the sentry? Yes, the sentry will get taken down here. Sentry, there it goes. And a beautiful, beautiful exchange there. Even if the Marines are all killed at this point, it will be a good exchange, as 1 probe may get taken down. Yes, it is. And there you have it. Satiini and Sage should be even in terms of losses. 250 versus 200. Somewhere 550 resources were lost where I was not aware of. Alright, double bunkers now here, Marines will be able to, I guess, essentially teleport between these bunkers. This is one of those tricks where you can rally units between each other, and you can almost instantly teleport units across the map if you want to. It is a little bit of a sight to behold if you want to definitely try it out. All right, double bunkers here. Marines now trying to do a bit of a chase, will not be able to chase those stalkers, as those stalkers are slightly faster. Now, at this point, Sage is not going to really be able to do all too much. Both players are poking and prodding a little bit more than normal, but these engagements are not really meant to truly deal damage. These engagements are more of those engagements where you're trying to keep your opponent honest. Now, at this stage, Satiini is going into a cloaking field for his Banshees. This is a variation on the 1-1-1 build. Siege tanks with siege tech on the front door here should be able to destroy any stalkers that try to bust their way in. The problem will be Colossi. Colossi with that range of 9, very, very powerful. Essentially a lot more powerful than siege tanks range of 13 when they are in siege mode, because of the fact that siege tanks are completely immobile at this point. Now, we are going to take a look here. Double gateways now being warped in. We are going into that robotics bay being built straight up next to this nexus. And we are now adding in an observer as well. 2 observers, as Sage now takes a look across and sees everything he wants to see. 1 Banshee. Is it already out on the field? I don't believe so, no. First Banshee is underway, as we are now going into double starport. All right, so Satiini doing a bit of a strategy that I am not aware of, and a probe is shot down on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Yeah, this is a bit of a strategy that I am not very familiar with at all. Perhaps he is suspecting that there are going to be Colossi, and he wants to double or perhaps triple train those units. He does see the robotics facility, and he has shot down observers, so perhaps he does suspect that there are going to be Colossi coming in just a second. Now, if the Banshee can pick off and take down perhaps a couple of these sentries, these very, very expensive sentries, that would be good for him. As you can see, the damage is being reduced there, but it's not going to help very much, as the sentries now trying to absorb damage once again. It looks like another sentry will get taken down. 2 sentries down. Is the 3rd sentry going to get taken down? No, it is not, as the Banshee is able to slip away just in time. A very good exchange by Satiini, as without those sentries, the Colossi are not nearly as powerful at getting all of those Marines and Marauders to clump up together and prevent any sort of retreat. Sage now sitting at 83, Satiini sitting at 86. Colossi being added, extended thermal lance range being added as well. Stalkers are in position to perhaps intercept any drops here on the left. On the right here, you can see Sage with a group of stalkers and sentries. But let's look at this. Satiini not going into that strategy at all, going into 2 base 3 port Banshee. And this is a bit odd. 2 base 3 port Banshee. This is essentially using up about 30 or about 300 gas a minute, which is exactly 300 gas a minute, so it's about 70 to 80% of your total gas. I am surprised that Satiini is still somehow able to train up some siege tanks at this time. As you can see, these 3-port Banshees should be very, very effective. Now, Banshees are one of those units that have very high DPS, 20 DPS per round of attack, and one of the things, or one of the reasons why it is so effective, is that I believe, if my calculations serve me correctly, they actually have higher DPS to Colossi than Vikings do. So Banshees can be a potential counter to Colossi, but it is really going to come down to the number of stalkers that are on the ground, especially with Blink now being researched. Banshees now grouping together on the top left here. The Banshees are going to be cloaking in, and here we have it, another attack in the night. Probes, there is that scanner sweep, and there we are gonna have it, a whole bunch of dead probes. All right, coming in. Probes are falling 2 at a time, essentially, as the probes are getting taken out. Stalkers are now making their way over. Banshees are now backing away, but a beautiful time here, as you can see that the Banshees are just picking off units. Observer now makes its way over. The Stalker's trying to get off some shots, but this is a really good position for the Banshees, as the Banshees don't have to worry about any units actually getting underneath them. these Banshees here, relatively now low on hit points. They are going to get decloaked and stuck in this position. Are they going to be able to sit here and not take damage? It looks like it will be so, as somehow one of the Banshees have some sort of cloaking phase technology as well, able to sit inside a giant rock for protection. Orbital command now being landed off here. It is going to be 3 bases to 3 bases. Sage is doing a good job trying to limit the damage from those Banshees. A handful of Stalkers being left behind to take care of them. Siege tanks now need to siege up. Is it going to siege up in time? Oh, I don't believe so. This could be a bad engagement for Satiini, as Sage is going to have a couple of Stalkers come in, and now Colossi able to shoot apart this one orbital or command center as it was being built. Satiini now operating 6 siege tanks as the mules are getting away. Is this orbital command going to lift off? Yes, it will. Will it be able to do anything is the question, as the Vikings are now getting in position. Vikings now perhaps looking to get some damage off on some of these units here. There are Colossi. Colossi going to be taking a lot of damage. One Colossus traded for an SCV, and now even more Banshees coming in as well. SCVs now making the attack over, and not enough anti-air, as all the Colossi of Sage are going to fall here. Down they go, and perhaps some of the Zealots as well. No, the Zealots, even without movement speed upgrades, the Banshees decide not to give chase, and damage was dealt. Sage now trying to replenish his units, now going for some Dark Templar. Where is that Dark Templar being warped in? I don't see them. Nope, down over here. So we are going to have 2 Dark Templar brethren, whom I like to call Swiper, now run in. Swiper. Swiper's such a strong unit, and it's just like Dora said. Do you see Swiper? Where's Swiper? Where's Swiper? Swiper, no swipe. Oh, there. Oh, going after the mules too. So taking down SCVs, and this could be a lot of damage here. So far, a lot of SCVs have been taken down already. SCV after SCV, and now there's Swiper, and Swiper gets picked off. Stalker's now trying to test the waters off over here, unable to do so. And it really feels like Sage is just poking around without a definitive strategy. This is not in a stage where Sage wants to be. Sage is now expanding at this point, sitting at 76 probes compared to 57 for Satiini. So that means Satiini should have the larger army at this point. Yes, so Satiini with a much larger army should be able to engage better here, as the Dark Templar now once again slipped by. One Dark Templar able to make its way through. No, the scanner sweep sight range much larger than that animation cares to indicate, as we are now getting Marines and Marauders back underneath. Upgrades, we are now going into 2-1 upgrades. Meanwhile, Sage is sitting at 2-1 upgrades already, going into 3 upgrades, and it looks like this orbital command will get taken down without a problem. No, SCVs working overtime, able to repair it, as the Marines now try to chase after those Stalkers. Stalkers are able to blink away without a problem. All right. Sage now running on 3 bases, looking to be 4 soon, but the Vikings getting taken down there. Stalkers now continuing to back off, and Satiini gonna simply ignore that group of Stalkers, as the Stalkers able to blink back up onto the high ground. Are the Marines perhaps gonna make their way inside the base here? We can see scanner sweep off over here, Colossi, Zealots, and now all of them are moving together. Rocks will fall here in just a moment. We now see 2-1 upgrades by Satiini, as the Stalkers now getting off some easy shots on those Vikings, and Sage now in a great position to really capitalize. SCVs trying to absorb damage. Force fields now coming in. The Marines now trying to finish off more of these units. The Banshees trying to fight back. Sage at 150, Satiini at 109, and Sage, I believe, just completely caught Satiini out of position and off guard there with that very aggressive 3 Colossi attack. All right, Satiini is once again moving back, but this is still not looking good. Satiini losing a fair amount of workers. I believe I saw a couple of workers in that engagement, now sitting at 33 workers compared to 80. And Satiini will not be able to replenish these forces. Sage should be able to take the game. And yes, Satiini believes that as well, as he gives the GG. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 1 in this series. Please stay tuned for Game 2.